Hello everyone, welcome to Overwatch Competitive Play. Now this is a mode that was implemented late last week on the PC and Xbox One. This mode was in the closed beta many months ago, but it did have a lot of issues with balancing and a lot of sudden deaths occurring, so they actually took it out to refine it. It didn't appear in the open beta of the game and it didn't appear at launch either. They've finally come out and released this. We've got a month and a half for the summer season. The seasons will generally last 2.5 months, basically aligning themselves with the seasons of the world, which is pretty cool. Originally there was supposed to be only 1 month each season, but after people giving a feedback on that, they decided against that. So in competitive play you will basically be first off doing 10 placement matches to get your overall skill ranking. Now you can get a skill ranking between 1 and 100. This will basically deem you what skill level you're at. If you're 1, then obviously you're at the lower end of the spectrum. If you're 100, then you are one of the elite players in Overwatch. Once you've done your 10 placement matches, you will get your skill ranking. Once you have your skill ranking, you will then be ranked with players of the same or very similar skill level. Upon winning or losing matches, you will actually lose or gain skill ranking depending on how you have performed and how your team has performed. Bear in mind, this is very much a team game. So you jump into your placement matches. You will be mainly with people without skill rankings either. Sometimes that doesn't always work out. Sometimes you get some people. I find that in my placement matches I sometimes had people in the mid drift in the 50s in my matches, sort of giving you an average player in there. So it's not like you're playing against someone who's ranked 100 and you're gonna get wrecked. It's not that. It's an idea to be playing against people of a similar skill. I think Quick Play done that sort of. It wasn't very good. It just sort of throwing you in any match. You can join a match halfway through in Quick Play and you can get a loss very quickly because you join a match where people have quit because they're losing, and then you end up on the losing team with 10 seconds to go. And so in competitive play, you cannot join a game midway through. You have to start from the start. If you quit, you get a ridiculous penalty. I think it's like 75% experience points or whatever. If someone does quit, or gets disconnected for any reason, they have 60 seconds to reconnect to the match. They can actually come back into the match without a penalty. After 60 seconds, you are then informed that you can actually leave the match without any penalties, but with a loss obviously. But because no one can connect midway through, if one of your team or two of your team leave, then obviously you're at a distinct disadvantage here. 4 against 6 in this sort of game, no matter how good you are, it's really not going to work out in your favor. So you do your placement matches and then you get your skill ranking. Now the matches actually work a little bit differently to Overwatch Quick Play. In Quick Play you'll jump into a match, you'll either be attacking or defending. If you're defending, it's your job to stop the attackers and vice versa. Whereas in competitive play you attack and then you defend in both the payload, in the capture modes and in the hybrid modes. The only difference is the control points. Obviously you're both attacking. It's the King of the Hill type game, but instead of best of 3, it's now best of 5 in competitive play to sort of spice things up a bit. So it goes up to first team to win 3 capture points, which is pretty cool. It prolongs the games a bit more. It gives your team more chance to have a balanced battle, and so there's no chance of one team getting lucky, so to speak. Obviously that could still happen, but it's very unlikely. Now in the capture points, the one team attacks, one team defends, obviously, and if the attackers capture, say, 1 point, then it switches over, and then your job is to then capture both points. Otherwise you'll be at 1-1 and then you'll have a sudden death. Now, sudden death is something that a lot of people don't like in this mode. Basically what happens is, we'll stick with the capture mode for a minute. If both teams capture 1 and 1, then it's 1-1 and there's a sudden death occurs, then it will literally flip an imaginary coin, deciding who's attacking, who's defending, and you will have a smaller amount of time to do this. And yeah, so I think the defending team in that sudden death clearly has the advantage. Obviously, as the attackers, you really just have to try and rush the point and capture it, otherwise the defenders are going to win, which I think is something that Blizzard have already said they're going to look at. They're going to try and get rid of this. It's not ideal, but it's just the way it is for now. So sudden death isn't a great concept. It only really happens in capture maps, I find, but it can also happen in a hybrid if neither team managed to capture the first objective. So in hybrid and payload modes, obviously the objective is to push the payload to its destination. Now the first team that attacks, they push the payload for as far as they can in the time limit provided. If they do not get to the end, then when they switch sides, the new attacker's objective will be to push it just a little bit further than the previous team did. You have a big glowing marker on the floor, your actual hood at the top. It tells you where you need to push it to, not to the end of the cycle. So this makes for quite intense payload matches, especially because if your payload's getting close to the destination that it needs to get to, things get a bit chaotic. Obviously in competitive mode, people are playing competitively, so it gives an extra incentive for everyone to want to win. So it makes for much more intense matches. Everyone wants to win, and it is pretty good. It feels great. Apart from the sudden death mode, I think overall it's what Overwatch fans have been wanting for a long time. You know, quick play is fun. It's fun to level up and to get your unlocks. In terms of leveling up, obviously the leveling system in Overwatch is pretty much useless. It's there for people to feel like they're progressing. It's also there for people to be able to unlock the cosmetic items. Obviously you can pay for them for real money for the loot boxes, but every level you gain you get a loot box. I think that is literally why that leveling system is there, nothing more, nothing less. It's not anything to go by. I don't think you can't look at someone and say, oh look, they're level 100, so they're 4 times better than me if you're level 25. Now level 25 is a number as well that you need to be at in order to play competitive mode. I think that's in literally because to get to level 25 I think it takes around 20 hours of play. So in order to get into competitive mode, they're basically saying you need to have a pretty good grasp on the game, on how it plays, how the heroes play. You know, if you've got to level 25, the chances are you've played pretty much every character. You've had a go at them. You found your favourites. You found your playstyle. So you're not jumping in like going on your first game at Overwatch, going in competitive mode and being a burden to your team, because having even one player that doesn't really know what they're doing is disastrous for your team. It's gonna really cause you problems, and you don't want that to happen. So level 25 you need to be at before you can go in competitive play. I think that's fine. I don't have any problems with that. I'm just about over 25. I had to play a few more matches in quick play in order to unlock the competitive mode, but I have no problems with that. So yeah, this has been Overwatch competitive mode. For more on Overwatch, I've been doing an Overwatch character review series. Zenyatta is the most recent one. We're just taking a look at each character turn by turn and seeing how they're doing. I will start doing more Overwatch competitive play videos. Maybe show you a few matches of mine. Obviously you've been seeing the footage here, or just little snippets of it. These are all placement matches. When I get further into my skill ranking, further into where I'm playing with people who are similar to me, then it might be making for much more interesting content, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. And I hope you go and check out Overwatch competitive mode. Overwatch is probably one of the best shooter games that's come out in recent times. It is a really good game. Blizzard always do excellent games, so, and I need to give props to Blizzard as well. You know, most other companies would have just thrown their competitive play mode in there anyway, even though they knew it was not very good, not fun, and it was broken. But Blizzard just said, look, right, this isn't working, we're taking it out. We apologise for this, but we're going to launch it when it's ready to do so. So props to them. I think they've done an excellent job. Obviously it's not perfect, but they've got plenty of time to patch it. On patch notes as well, on the Xbox One, the competitive play patch also brought out the nerfs for Chaborn. His turret now has a 30% less damage, I think it was, around 30%, which is great because obviously on the PC they've said that because you've got a mouse and keyboard you can aim a lot quicker at this turret and destroy it, whereas on the controller it's a bit slower to get there, and he was causing a lot of problems. Also, Widowmaker was a bit too powerful with her sniper rifle, so she's been nerfed a little bit as well. But yeah, this has been Overwatch. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe. Please share if you have the time. It would be much appreciated if you share my videos so I can get my thoughts and opinions out to more people. And yeah, leave a comment below if you've been playing Overwatch competitive play. Let me know what you think about it. I know a lot of people are saying how it's been broken, but you know, it's not perfect, I'll say that, but it's also very good, and I hope you enjoy it, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time. Peace.